I left on a Tuesday morning. There was nothing dramatic about it. No slammed doors. No final argument. Just a small suitcase, a quiet apartment, and a kind of stillness that felt heavier than any fight we had ever had. She was still asleep when I stepped out. For a moment I stood in the doorway, looking at the living room we had shared for 3 years. The same couch where we used to watch movies late into the night. The kitchen where we once cooked together before life slowly turned into schedules, tension, and silence. At some point, the warmth between us had been replaced by something colder. Not cruelty exactly. Just constant dismissal. The kind that makes you feel smaller every week without realizing it. Every disagreement ended the same way. You're overthinking. You're too sensitive. Why do you always make things complicated? At first I tried to explain myself. Then I tried to adjust. Eventually I just stopped talking about things that bothered me. Silence became easier. But silence has a strange side effect. It slowly builds pressure inside you until one day you realize you're no longer staying because you love someone. You're staying because leaving feels like too much effort. That Tuesday morning, the pressure finally released. I didn't leave a letter. I didn't send a message. I simply closed the door and walked away. For the first few weeks, I expected chaos to follow. Angry calls, demands for explanation. But nothing happened. No messages. No questions. And strangely, that confirmed what I had already suspected. My absence didn't register immediately. Life moved forward. I moved to another city for work. Something I had been considering for a long time, but never pursued because she didn't want to relocate. The new job wasn't glamorous, but it was stable. More importantly, it gave me space. The quiet there felt different. Not the tense quiet of our apartment, where silence meant someone was upset. This was the calm kind. The kind where evenings passed without emotional negotiations. For the first time in years, my thoughts weren't constantly bracing for criticism. Months went by. Then one evening, while I was finishing work, my phone lit up with a number I didn't recognize. I ignored it. A few minutes later, another call came. Then a message appeared. "Is this still your number?" I stared at the screen for a long moment before realizing it was her. I didn't respond. Not out of anger. Just uncertainty. The next morning there were 3 more messages. "Can we talk? I didn't realize you had completely disappeared. Where are you?" I read them without feeling the surge of emotion I once would have. Mostly I felt distance. When someone slowly pushes you away for years, the emotional cord doesn't snap suddenly. It frays gradually until one day it's simply gone. Over the following weeks, the messages kept coming. At first they were cautious. Then apologetic. Then confused. Eventually they carried something heavier. Regret. "I've been trying to understand why you left. I think I took you for granted. I didn't realize how much you were doing until you were gone." I never replied. Not because I wanted her to suffer, but because answering would reopen a door I had already closed quietly. Through mutual friends I started hearing fragments of what was happening back there. Apparently, she had started asking people about me. Old coworkers, friends we hadn't spoken to in years. She visited places we used to go together, asking if anyone had seen me. At first people assumed she just wanted closure, but the search kept expanding. Months later, something happened that made the separation feel final in a different way. The company I had joined announced a major project expansion. Unexpectedly, I was asked to lead part of it. It meant a promotion and relocation to another branch across the country. It wasn't a life-changing moment in the dramatic sense. No celebration, no victory speech. Just a quiet meeting with my manager and a simple sentence. "We think you're the right person to handle this." I accepted. That decision created distance that wasn't just emotional anymore. It was geographical, professional, permanent in practical terms. Around that time a mutual friend called me. He sounded hesitant. "She's still trying to find you," he said. I didn't respond immediately. Apparently she had contacted several people recently, asking if anyone knew where I had moved. She had even visited my old workplace after hearing a rumor I might still be there. The strange part wasn't the effort. It was the timing. All those months when I was still emotionally reachable, when a single sincere conversation might have mattered, nothing had happened. Now, long after the silence had settled, the urgency had appeared. Regret often arrives late like that. I thanked my friend for telling me, but asked him not to share my location. He understood. After the call ended, I sat for a long time thinking about everything, not angrily, not even sadly, just thoughtfully. People imagine regret as something dramatic. Tears, confessions, emotional confrontations. In reality, it's quieter. It's realizing the value of someone only after the daily presence that made them valuable disappears. Weeks later, I received one final message from an unfamiliar number. I know you might never respond, but if you see this, I'm sorry I didn't listen when you were still there. I read it once. Then I locked my phone. There was no sense of triumph in that moment, no satisfaction. Just a calm recognition of something simple. Some departures are loud and messy, others are silent, and the silent ones are usually the ones that can't be undone.